Right, it's my turn now. Okay. So, before I move on to thank yous... No, I don't need that.
Use it.
I don't like to use a microphone, I haven't EQ'd myself. Bit of AV banter there. But before I move on to the thank yous, I'm just going to... You're probably all wondering why the hecky who we're at a zoo. And basically because we didn't want it to be boring for you. I hope you all had a good time looking at all the animals. I mean, if there are any monkeys having a special scratch, I'm sure there's an extra treat. Okay. So, also, because Twycross Zoo is in the middle of nowhere, we couldn't be interrupted by any ex-lovers still after us. Although... No, it's just the wind. It was just the wind. There's no one there. And hers, I killed them all. So it's like, I killed them. It took a while, but I killed them all. Okay, so basically, my speech is mainly thank yous. And I am god-awful at saying thank you. So, I have got a list off a website, and I'm going to read it verbatim. If anybody wants the web address, it is www.groomslist.co.uk/magazine, grooms/s/speech, duties/groom/speech basics. Okay? So I'm going to literally read this verbatim. Okay? Point number 1. Thank the bride's wider family for welcoming you into their lives. Even if you don't get along particularly well, you should try and find a couple of positives to say about them. And the fantastic upbringing they gave your wife. This only needs to be short, but include as many of them as possible if they deserve it. All right, so everybody in Francesca's family, put your hands up. Everybody. Right, now you and you put your hands down. And thank you. There we go. I did not mean that as just a random pick. Could have been anyone. I just said I was going to go 30 degrees to the left and just whoever that was. Okay, yeah, also thank you for all the food and the television that I've watched over the last few years in your house, Bunny. Thank you very much. Although we could have kept Sky Sports F1, couldn't we? But never mind. Point number 2. Turn to your own family and thank them. Praise the way you were brought up. But also try to add in a humorous anecdote, an amusing event of your childhood. Give special mention to both your mother and your wife's mother. Tell them how amazing they are. And you don't want to go down a soppy, sentimental route, but try to make all the mothers in the room cry. I've got a few additional points on this one. Okay, I'd like to apologise to my wider family for being the worst family member I've ever known. I have never remembered any one of your birthdays, barely been to any events, so I'm just sorry. Very sorry. Bonnie, thank you very much for letting me have her. In every sense. I was maybe not going to put that one in, but I did. Oh, there is one other than her. There's one very special woman to mention, and that, unfortunately, is my mother. My thank yous are mainly apologies. So, Mum, I'd like to apologise for being probably the worst child. I mean, many of you may not know this. It's technically impossible to be expelled from a primary school. I was expelled from a primary school.
Twice?
Yeah, there we go.
Twice?
Yeah.
It was a bad school.
It was a bad school. It was a bad school, yeah. Referring to the amusing, humorous anecdote section, she lost all my baby photos. I have no evidence I was a child, which has led to this Jesus complex. And you may think, well, today is May the 16th. In my mind, when we first organised this, a completely random selection of days. It was only when I spoke to Mum on the phone that I was reminded that it was actually her birthday. Therefore, backing up the worst family member ever point. So, in that case, I believe I've brought a present. This will be as much of a surprise for me as it is for you. It's some flowers. There we go. It's some flowers. How lovely. How lovely. Wonderful. Flowers. Yeah, be funnier than this. on to the bridesmaids. Thank them for all their work, and don't forget to praise how beautiful they look. Would. Remember, you are giving a speech, this speech on behalf of you and my wife, so use we instead of I. We would. At this point, a toast is normally called for. Don't worry, Laura, you as well. To the bridesmaids. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on to the serious bit now, which it actually says here, this is the serious bit. It's time to talk openly and honestly about your wife and how much you love her. Tell a story of how you first met, probably not. Or perhaps something else from the relationship, just to make sure you give this section real thought. What's that say in brackets? Oh, don't just read a list you printed off the internet. Talk from the heart, but try to avoid sounding like a Valentine's Day card. If you pull it off, the whole place will be eating out the palm of your hand. Much like the rabbits earlier on. Okay, have you seen some baby pictures? She didn't start off very pretty. If anything, she looks slightly like Mogwai from Gremlins, which is why there are no photos of her in a paddling pool there. Probably because Bonnie and Phil were scared that if they got her wet, she would turn into Bernie Gremlins. But on a serious note... On a serious note, she is kind. She's incredibly kind, mainly for allowing a lump like me to be around pure beauty like that. No. And she is strong for dealing with me from terrible puns to terrible tantrums. So, there are two more big reasons why I love her, but I didn't feel it was appropriate to
Well played.
It was all hand gestures, that wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all in the
could have been innocent, but it wasn't.
No.
Okay, obviously, I can only thank one half of the people behind creating Francesca this evening, because unfortunately, as we all know, Phil isn't with us. Basically, mine and Phil's relationship consisted of awkward conversations about our differing views on sports. He liked cricket, I was nonplussed about it. He liked motorbike racing. I was pretty sure, in fact, that Formula 1 is better. And he really enjoyed rugby, and obviously, as you may have guessed from my rotund demeanour, I play American football, which is just better. And regardless of how many times he tried to convince me to try and play rugby, it fell on deaf ears when I said I just don't have the cardiovascular ability to run for 80 minutes. But there is one thing that we did have in common, apart from our differing opinions on sport, and that is a shared love for Francesca. I think we both care for her immensely, and I think I'd like to think that he now would trust me to take care of you for the rest of your life. It might not be quite as jazzy as your life at home, but it's a life. We've got a cat. Okay. Yeah, we've got a cat. I'd like to thank everybody that put any effort into preparing this wedding. I don't know any of your names. It's not because I'm ignorant, it's just because I get hit in the head a lot and I'm very forgetful. Everything you've done for this wedding, it's incredible. I mean, I did all the lights and stuff and they look good, but whatever. There are two guys on table 3 I'd really like to thank as well, just an additional point. I'd like to thank Julian Boville and Adrian Giles for giving me at least some way of earning money when I first left university. Because basically no one will employ me unless they're my friends. So there you go. Now, point number 7. I mean, we kind of danced around a bit, but here we are. Hand over to your best men. I have men. I have best men. You can see 2 of them here. I won't steal your Rolf Harris joke, but there it is. Yeah, much like my approach to meat, my approach to best men has been the same, so I went for the mixed grill. I couldn't decide, so I had everything. But yeah, it says here to finish off the set, but make sure you do it with a little joke about how they are known to confuse fact with fantasy and renowned for imaginations of the obscene. It's naff, but it will get a laugh. It didn't. So we'll just move on. But thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for existing. Thank you for making her exist. And just bloody thank you everyone. Follow that!